favorite stories. Stories about wild things and unlikely heroes, chocolate factories and tiny motorcycles, buried giants and mock turtles. "Where did you hide the prisoners?" he yelled. "Show me, or there'll be nothing left of you but chopped dragon liver." But the dragon did not move. It was a stubborn beast and wily as a snake. "Aha! You're going to be tricky, are you? Well, let's see if you can dodge my super sneaky sideways sword swipe." Henry climbed onto the bed and took a bouncing leap over his Play-Doh sculptures of trees and towers. He kicked his legs, spun around, sliced the air with his sword, and landed in a pile of dragon poop, which had once been green socks. "That was awesome," he whispered. "I've got to draw that part." Dropping the cardboard tube, he crawled over to his bed. Then he pulled a book out of a secret place under his mattress that no one knew about but him. It was a sketchbook with blank pages for drawing, and on the cover he had written in tall, grand letters, "Sir Henry's Quest." A quest. It was probably the best word of all the words ever made up. It meant going on a really long journey to find something you want a whole lot. Oscar Rockbottom had helped him to spell it right. Oscar was Henry's best friend. If life were a drinking straw, Oscar would be the paper wrapper soaring off the end. But even Oscar had only occasionally been allowed to peek inside the sketchbook. The book was a record of all of Henry's adventures. It was a story, Henry's very own story, a story made with pictures, and he imagined someone adding words to the picture someday and making it into a real book, like the books in his book chest. But it would be a secret book no one else could read. Sir Henry's Adventure. Sir Henry's Quest. How would it end? He didn't know, but he knew he would be a great hero and save the entire world. Looking through the sketchbook was like stepping into his story. On one page, King Kong, the giant gorilla, was beating his hairy chest and carrying off Henry's teacher, Miss Pimpernel. Henry still remembered his mother's face the day he drew that. She had walked into his room just as he was leaping from the bed to the dresser, chasing after the gorilla and pretending to swing on jungle vines like Tarzan. On the next page, Abraham Lincoln was wearing his tall black hat and looking relieved on the day Henry had traveled back in time and saved the Civil War from being invaded by aliens. Across another page raced a pirate ship with Henry himself, sword in hand, battling a peg-legged pirate. That ship had been his favorite drawing until now. The dragon, the marvelous chalk dragon, beat them all. A breeze made the pages flutter, and Henry jumped to his feet and ran to shut the window. Outside, the real night sky with its real shooting stars, not chalky ones, crowded around the Penwhistle house, trying to spy on the night in his adventure. But Henry pulled the curtains closed. He and the world had a deal. He would keep away from its silly chatter and its honking horns, its math equations and its shopping malls, its confusing rules and its laughing faces. And in return, the world would keep out of his bedroom. For in this room, behind this door, lay a deeper magic and a wilder story than the world had ever seen, or ever would see as long as the door stayed shut. Henry opened his sketchbook to a blank page, and there he drew the wonderful dragon that was on his door. "Hold still," he told the dragon sternly. He drew the dragon poop and the trees and the towers and the dragon-fighting monster trucks, and he drew himself leaping off a mountain and doing the super sneaky sideways sword swipe. Then he let the pencil drop to the floor and shut the book quickly. He could have sworn the dragon's eyes had turned towards his castle. It was made entirely of Legos, matchsticks, shoelaces, tissues, scotch tape, and gumdrops. He had spent a whole week building it piece by piece. Henry picked up his sword and dashed to the castle gate.